I just wanted to throw a quick disclaimer at the beginning of this video that I could be wrong in this. Also, uh, all of this was recorded as of patch OB58. The exact number is up there. Things can change over this because it is still in open beta. So don't sue me if I'm wrong. I'm only human. So let's get on with this video. Hello everyone, the Penguin9 here, and welcome back today to another video on Paladins. Today I'm doing something I did a really long time ago, but I decided I better do it again. I'm showing the maximum amount of damage each champion can do. The last time I did it, it's been a long time. They've added like 10 or 12 champions since then, so I figured I really should do this again. So I'm here to do it again, so here you go. Enjoy the video. Alright, we're going to start off here in alphabetical order with Androxus. He does 600 damage a regular body shot, which gives him 1,200 DPS on body shots, and a 3,600 on a full clip. It does 900 damage with a headshot, 1,800 DPS, because he can get 2 shots off in 1 second, and he has a clip total of 5,400. His right click, the entire right click landing on one person will do 1,400. If he lands at all headshots, it'll do 1,850. Now with the heads will roll legendary, with a headshot it'll do 1,200, and his DPS is 2,400. With a full clip he'll do 7,200 damage, and a right click full headshots will do 2,300. And now for his Darkstalker legendary, on a body shot he'll do 780, DPS is 1,560 on body shots, a full clip will do 4,680. On headshots he'll do 1,080, DPS of 2,160, and the full clip will do 6,480. His right click with Darkstalker will do 1,820 on body shots, and on full headshots it'll do 2,270. And for Androxus' ultimate, he can do 1,000 damage. Each shot will do a maximum of 1,000 damage. He can do a maximum of 4 of those, which is 4,000 damage in total. He has a DPS of 2,000 in his ultimate, and if he lands all 5 shots, or all 4 shots on all 5 people, he'll do 2,000 damage, if at maximum. And on to the next champion. Alright, now we have Ashe here. She does 400 damage every 0.9 seconds, which gives her a DPS of 440. She can do a maximum of 2,200 DPS, hitting 5 different targets. Over a full clip, that's 3,200. If she hits all 5 targets, that's 16,000 over a full clip. And her right click can hit 5 targets as well, which gives her a maximum damage out of that of 1,500. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Barrack. His base kit, he can do 500 damage, and that is his DPS also, because he can fire 1 shot every second. 500 damage at a body shot gives him a full clip damage of 3,000. If he lands a headshot, that's 750, also his DPS, and a full clip is 4,500. With his turrets, if he has 1 down, it'll be doing 150 DPS, because it can also fire once a second, and 300 DPS if he has 2 down. Alright, with Barrack's legendary Tinkerin, if he lands a shot, it'll do 650. It cannot headshot, so its full clip will do 390. Alright, with Barrack's legendary Architectonics, with 1 turret down it'll do 180 damage a second, and with 2 turrets down it'll do 360 damage a second. This does not affect his ultimate though. Barrack's ultimate will do 3,040 damage over the entire duration, and with the burn effect. And on to the next champion. Alright, on to Bomb King. Each left click will do 10 damage, giving him 13 DPS. If he detonates those bombs, it'll give him a DPS of 927. If he lands all 6 bombs on one target, it'll do 5,400. And just as a little quick note, his Poppy Bomb, does 150 damage. And with Bomb King's legendary chain reaction, he can do a total of 9,450 damage, scaling from 900, 1,170, 1,440, 1,710, 1,980, and 2,250 each bomb. Those are the 6 bombs damage. And on to the next champion. Alright, so now on to Buck. A body shot of him will do 570, which gives him a DPS of 627 because he can fire every 0.9 seconds. A full clip damage of 3,420. Headshots will do 855, which gives him a headshot DPS of 940, and a full clip damage of 5,130. Buck's ultimate will do 1,140 on a body shot, which gives him a 1,254 DPS. The entire clip will do 6,840. If he gets a headshot, it's 1,425. Gives him a DPS of 1,567, and a full clip damage of 8,550. Alright, so now on to Buck. A body shot of him will do 570, which gives him a DPS of 627 because he can fire every 0.9 seconds. A full clip damage of 3,420. Headshots will do 855, which gives him a headshot DPS of 940, and a full clip damage of 5,130. Buck's ultimate will do 1,140 on a body shot, which gives him a 1,254 DPS. The entire clip will do 6,840. If he gets a headshot, it's 1,425. Gives him a DPS of 1,567, and a full clip damage of 8,550. Then we look at Buck's legendary Ensnare. If he lands a body shot with you ensnared, it'll do 912. If he lands a headshot, it'll do 1,197. In his ultimate, if he gets a body shot, it'll do 1,482. And if it's a headshot, it'll do 1,767. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Cassie. Regular left click will do 650 damage every 0.75 seconds, which gives her a DPS of 812. A full clip will do 3,900. Alright, now on to Cassie's legendary exaction. If she dodge rolls and hits the first shot after dodge rolling, she will do 845 damage in that shot. Alright, and for Cassie's legendary big game, if she disengages a ulted Makoa with the legendary of extra health, she can do 1,215 damage a shot and a maximum of 9,720 damage. And for Cassie's legendary Impulse, she can, with her blast shot, will do 750 damage. And on to the next champion. Alright, now onto Drogoz. A regular shot from him can do 850 damage, and he can fire one of those every 0.85 seconds, which gives him a DPS of 977. A full clip can do 5,100. If he puts a fire spit onto somebody in a direct hit, he can do 1,105. With his salvo, he can load up a full clip, each one doing 250, and the full clip will do 1,500. If he puts a fire spit onto somebody that he hits the salvo, each rocket will do 325, and the full thing will do 1,950. Alright, and with Drogos' legendary Fuselage, he can do 1,148 on a direct shot, which gives him a DPS of 1,320. A full clip can do 6,888. If he puts a fire spit onto somebody and hits them directly, it'll do 1,492. With the salvo, if direct shots, each direct shot will do 338. Full clip will do 2,028. If he puts a fire spit onto them in the direct shots with the salvo, it'll do 439 apiece. That's doing a full clip of 2,634. And for Drogos' other legendary combustible is Fire Spit. If exploded in the air, will do 1,300 damage maximum to any specific target. And Drogos' ultimate can do a maximum of 11,300, and that is to an ulted Makoa with the health increasing legendary. And on to the next champion. Alright, now onto Eevee. Every second she can blast one shot doing 930 damage, giving her 930 DPS, and a full clip of 5,580 damage. With Eevee's legendary of Over the Moon, when she hops off her staff, she can do 3 shots of 1,116, doing a total of 3,348 damage. And Eevee's ultimate does a total of 640 damage. And on to the next champion. Alright, and now on to Fernando. He's a little more tricky than the rest, but we can still do this. His DPS is right around 750, I've averaged. He can fire every 0.1 seconds, dealing 35, and he applies a damage over time of 200, which resets every single tick. Every 0.1 seconds of you doing a new damage. And it will tick though. So 750 is a pretty good DPS. A full clip, I don't know, I'm estimating about 3,750. And also his charge does 200 damage. And now for Fernando's legendary, Scorch. His first fireball will do 585. The second target it hits will do 761 to it. Third target it hits, it'll do 936 to it. The fourth target it hits, it'll do 1,112 to it. And the fifth target it hits will do 1,287. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Grok. He'll deal 750 damage every 0.1 seconds, giving him a DPS of 750. A full clip damage of 2,812. Because he consumes 2 ammo every 0.1 seconds, having an ammo of 75. His shock pulse will do 625 at base. And now onto Grok's legendary Maelstrom, which increases his shock pulse's bouncing around, so it increases the damage from 625 to 1,250 over the entire duration. Alright, so now onto Grok's ultimate. It can deal a maximum of 1,400 damage, and it can deal that to 2 separate targets. So 2 targets can take 1,400 damage, making it so it's able to do 2,800 damage in total. And on to the next champion. Alright, now onto Grover. The most damage he can do is with his legendary Ferocity, doing a maximum of 1,122. I know it's a weird number, but that's the maximum amount he can do from maximum range. And on to the next champion. Alright, now onto Inara. She can fire every 1 second, firing out 3 projectiles, each doing 225, so that gives her a DPS of 675, a full clip damage of 3,375, and her Warder's Fields will deal a total of 750 damage. And on to the next champion. Alright, now onto Genos. He can deal 120 damage every 0.13 seconds, giving him a DPS of 849. Full clip of shots will do 2,880. If he lands a headshot, that's 180. If he gets full headshots, it'll do 1,247 DPS, and a full clip of headshots will do 4,320. And his Void Grip at base will do 375 over its max duration. And now for Genos' legendary Luminary. He can do 138 damage on a body shot, giving him a DPS of 977 and a full clip of 3,312. If he lands headshots, that's 198. giving him a DPS of 1,401 and a full clip damage of 4,752. Alright, and for Genesis Legendary, the Power Cosmium, it increases the damage of his Void Grip up to 750 over its maximum duration. And on to the next champion. Alright, we're on to Ganessa. There's a lot to talk about here, so let's get straight into it. Her basic attack does 150 damage every 0.15 seconds, which gives her a DPS of 1,000 and a full clip damage of 3,000. If she lands headshots, that's 225, giving her a DPS of 1,425 and a full clip damage of 4,500. If she has an Oppressor Mine targeting someone, it goes up to 195 damage a shot, giving her a DPS of 1,235 and a full clip damage of 3,900. If she lands headshots, that's 270, it's giving her a DPS of 1,710 and a full clip damage of 5,400. Alright, now we can talk about Ganessa's sniper mode. Each shot will do 1,200 damage, giving her and it takes 1.4 seconds to fully charge a shot, giving her a DPS of 950. Full clip damage, fully charged, will do 6,000 damage. If she lands a headshot, that's 1,800, giving her a DPS of 1,550 and a full clip of maximum charge, doing 9,000 damage. Alright, now onto her ultimate. Regular shot, it'll do 225 damage, giving her a DPS of 1,425 and a full clip damage of 4,500. If she gets a headshot, that's 300, giving her a DPS of 1,900 and a full clip damage of 6,000. If she has an Oppressor Mine on the target, it'll do 270 with a regular shot, and giving her a DPS of 1,710 and a full clip damage of 5,400. If she lands a headshot, that's 345, giving her a DPS of 2,185 and a full clip damage of 6,900. And when she's scoped in her ultimate, she can do 1,800 damage on a regular shot, giving her a DPS of 1,550, with a full clip damage of 9,000. If she lands a headshot, that's 2,400, giving her a DPS of 2,150 and a full clip damage of 12,000. Alright, now we're on to Ganessa's legendary Eagle Eyes. It gives her 300 damage on a headshot, giving her a headshot DPS of 1,900 and a full headshot clip of 6,000. If she has an Oppressor Mine on that target, the damage goes up to 345 a shot, giving her a DPS of 2,185 and a full clip of 6,900. And if she's scoped in, doing a headshot, it'll do 2,400 damage, giving her a DPS of 2,150 and a full clip damage of 12,000. And if she's in her ultimate, a headshot will do 375, giving her a headshot DPS of 2,375 and a full clip of 7,500. If there's an Oppressor Mine on that target, it'll do 420 per headshot, giving her a headshot DPS of 2,660 and a full clip of 8,400. If she's scoped in and does a headshot, she'll do 3,000 damage, giving her a DPS of 2,142 and a full clip damage of 15,000. Alright, now onto Ganessa's other legendary Steady Aim. With a body shot, she'll do 1,560 after the first shot, and if it's a headshot, it'll do 2,160. In her ultimate, a body shot will do 2,160, and a headshot will do 2,760. And on to the next champion. Alright, now onto Lex. He does 400 damage every 0.35 seconds, giving him a DPS of 1,180 and a full clip of 4,000. If he gets a headshot, that's 600, giving him a DPS of 1,770 and a full clip of 6,000. Alright, now to Lex's legendary discovery. He does 480 damage on a body shot, giving him a DPS of 1,416 and a full clip damage of 4,800. If he gets a headshot, that's 680, and it gives him a DPS of 2,074 and a full clip damage of 6,800. And his right click, which is his In Pursuit, also does extra damage, dealing 210 each time, doing a maximum of 1,260. And then for Lex's other legendary Death Hasten, It increases the damage of his basic attack to 520, giving him a DPS of 1534, giving him a full clip damage of 5200. If he lands a headshot, that's 720, giving him a DPS of 2124 and a full clip damage of 7200. It also increases the damage per tick of his in pursuit to 228, which gives him a maximum of 1368 damage. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Leon. She can do 400 damage every 0.45 seconds, giving her a DPS of 840, a full clip damage of 3200. If she lands a headshot, that's 600, giving her a headshot DPS of 1260, and a full clip of headshots is 4800. Now to Leon's legendary Alacrity. It increases the amount of targets her Grace can hit up to 5, so it now can deal up to 2000 damage if it hits all 5. Alright, now on to Leon's legendary Eminence. Her presence can now do a maximum of 1200 damage, but that can hit 5 people, doing a maximum of 6000 damage. And on to the next champion. Alright, and now on to Maeve. She can throw 2 daggers, each dealing 450 every second, which gives her a DPS of 900. And if you're using the Cap Burglar legendary, it increases each dagger's damage to 540, which means she can do 1080 damage if she hits both. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Makoa. He can fire one shot, dealing 650 damage every 1 second, giving him a DPS of 650. His Dredge Anchor does 100 damage, and his Shell Spin does 150. It can do a maximum of 750 if it hits 5 people. With Makoa's legendary Pluck, after he reels somebody in with his Dredge Anchor, the first shot that he does to them will do 1170. In Makoa's ultimate, his basic attack does 650. If he hits 5 people, that's 3250. His DPS is 780, which if he hits 5 people, his DPS is 3900. And the maximum amount of damage he can do is 6500 unless he hits 5 people. If he hits 5 people for the entire duration, that's 32,500 damage. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Meldamba. He can do 450 every 0.55 seconds, giving him a DPS of 855. And when he reloads, if it throws out a projectile, if that hits, it'll deal 200 damage and stun an enemy for 1 second. But if he has the Rakono's Wrath legendary, when he reloads, if the projectile hits somebody, it'll do 700 damage and stun them for 1 second. And his Gourd, if he throws it out, it'll last 4.8 seconds, and over that entire duration deal 960 damage to an enemy. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Pip. Each shot does 600 damage maximum every 1 second, giving him a DPS of 600. And for Pip's legendary Catalyst, each shot will do 840 maximum, and he can pump out a maximum of 3 shots, giving him a maximum amount of damage from it to 2,520. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Ruckus. He can do a 48 damage every 0.04 seconds, giving him a DPS of 1,150 and a full clip damage of 9,600. If he lands a headshot, that's 72, giving him a headshot DPS of 1,800 and a full clip of headshots of 14,400. Now on to Ruckus' legendary Overdrive. His base attack can do 62 damage, giving him a DPS of 1,550 and a full clip damage of 12,400. If he lands a headshot, that's 86 damage, giving him a DPS of 2,150 and a full clip damage of 17,200. And his missiles will each do 325. And Ruckus' ultimate does over 11,300 damage. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Ceres. Each projectile she puts out can do 210 damage every 0.3 seconds, giving her a DPS of 651. If she hits 5 targets, her DPS goes up to 3,255. A full clip can do 2,520 to 1 target, and a total of 12,600 if it hits 5 different targets. and a Ren's souls can do a maximum of 2,000 damage if it's 4 soul charges are applied to 5 different targets. And her ultimate can do 10 damage to one target and 50 damage if it hits 5 different targets. And on to the next champion. Alright, now onto Shaolin. His longbow can deal a maximum of 1,000 damage, but it takes him 1.5 seconds to draw it back, so that gives him a DPS of 667. And his planted can do a maximum of 4,800 damage. And if he has the recurve legendary, that gives him a DPS of 785 with a draw speed of 1.275. If he has the Desert Shadow legendary, after using withdraw, the first arrow out of withdraw will do 1,300 damage. And in his ultimate he has a DPS of 1,334 because his draw speed is 0.75. And if he has recurve in his ultimate, his DPS is 1,990 because his draw speed is 0.975. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Sky. She can do a base damage of 140 every 0.1 seconds, giving her a DPS of 1,400, and a full clip damage of 2,800. If she lands a headshot, that's 210, giving her a DPS of 2,100 and a full clip damage of 4,200. And the maximum of damage her poison bolts can do at base is 3,420. Alright, if you're using Sky's surprise attack legendary, it'll do 640 on a body shot, first shot out of stealth. The DPS is 2,400, giving her a full clip damage of 3,300. If it's a headshot, it's 710, giving her a DPS of 2,600 and a full clip damage of 4,700. Alright, and for Sky's legendary debilitate, it can do a maximum of 4,500 damage. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Strix. His rifle can fire once a second, doing 1,200 damage, giving him a DPS of 1,200, and a full clip damage of 6,000. If it's a headshot, that's 1,800, giving him a DPS of 1,800, and a full clip damage of 9,000. Alright, and for his pistol, it does 249 damage in a semi-automatic format, which gives him an estimated DPS of 2,490, which is also his full clip damage. If it's a headshot, it's 374, giving him a full clip damage and DPS of 3,740, and his right click does 300 damage, which is his flare. And for crack shot, if he hits his pistol, it does 299 damage, full clip damage of 2,990, that's also his DPS, 423 on a headshot, giving him a headshot DPS of 4,230. And that's also the full clip damage. And now into ambush. If he gets a body shot with his rifle, it'll do 1,380. If he gets a headshot with his rifle, it'll do 1,980. And if he gets a body shot with his pistol, it'll do 286, giving him a DPS of 2,860. That's also the full clip damage. And if he gets a headshot, that's 411. Giving him a DPS of 4,110, and that's also full clip damage. And Strix's ultimate also deals 150 damage to every target it hits. And on to the next champion. Alright, now onto Torvald. His gauntlet does 50 damage every 0.1 seconds, giving him a DPS of 500 and a full clip damage of 2,500. If he has the direct current legendary equipped, his runic blast will do 500 damage, maximum of 2,500 if it hits 5 targets. And his ultimate does around 1,200 damage. And on to the next champion. Alright, now into Tyra. She does 120 damage every 0.09 seconds, giving her a DPS of 1,320 and a full clip damage of 3,120. If she gets a headshot, that's 180, giving her a DPS of 1,980 and a full clip damage of 4,680. If she has the Hunter's Mark applied to somebody, a body shot does 138, giving her a DPS of 1,518 and a full clip damage of 3,588. she gets a headshot that's 198, giving her a headshot DPS of 2,178 and a full clip damage of 5,140. And her firebomb can do a maximum of 10,170, that is to an ulted Makoa, and it can do a maximum of 1,600 damage to Tyra. If she has the Hunting Party legendary equipped, it'll do 150 damage on a body shot, giving her a DPS of 1,650 and a full clip damage of 3,900. If it's a headshot, that's 225, giving her a DPS of 2,475 and a full clip damage of 5,000. With Mercy Kill equipped, the nade launcher can do a maximum of 1,400 damage. In her ultimate, her DPS is 2,400, giving her a full ultimate of damage, dealing 10,800. If all those are headshots, that gives her a DPS of 3,600 and a full ultimate's worth of headshots is 16,200. If she has the Hunter's Mark equipped, the DPS goes up to 2,760 on body shots, giving her a full clip damage of 12,420. If it's headshots, that brings the DPS up to 3,960 and a full ultimate's worth of 17,820 damage. With Hunting Party equipped, if she has the Hunter's Mark on somebody, her DPS goes up to 3,000 on body shots, giving her a full clip damage of 13,500. If they are all headshots, that's 4,500 DPS, giving her a full clip damage of 20,250. And on to the next champion. Alright, Victor has a very special thing about him. The first 4 shots in his clip do an extra 50 damage. So on his basic attack, that'll do 170 damage for the first 4 shots, and the rest of the shots will do 130, and he can fire one every 0.1 seconds, giving him a DPS of 1,300. But if you have the first 4 shots, that's 1,460 of his DPS. Full clip damage doing 4,060. 235 is the first 4 shots of his clip, and the rest of his clip would do 195 on headshots, giving him a DPS of 1,950, unless you include the first 4, because then it's 2,110, and a full clip is 6,010. Victor gets bonus damage off of any target hit by his grenade, so the first 4 shots would do 190, and the rest of his clip would do 150 at body shots, giving him 1,500 DPS, not including the first 4. Including the first 4 is 1,660, and a full clip damage of 4,660. If it's headshots, it's 255 for the first 4, and 215 for the rest, giving him a DPS of 2,150, unless you're including the first 4, which makes it up to 2,310, and a full clip of 6,610. If you have the Firefight legendary, it bumps the first 4 of his shots up to 209 and the rest of his shots up to 169, giving him 1,690 DPS or 1,850, including the first 4 shots. Full clip of 5,230. If it's headshots, the first 4 will do 274 and the rest will do 234, giving him a DPS of 2,340, not including the first 4. If it's including the first 4, it's 2,500 DPS. Full clip damage of 7,180. And with the grenade bonus damage, the first 4 will do 229 and the rest will do 198, DPS of 1,890, or with the first 4 it'd be 2,050, giving him a full clip damage of 5,230. If it's headshots, that's 294 for the first 4 and the rest will be 254, DPS of 2,540 and a max DPS of 2,700, and a full clip damage of 7,780. If you're using the Gunnery Legendary, the first 4 shots from his clip will do 190 and the rest of his clip will do 150, giving him a DPS of 1,500 or a max DPS of 1,660, and a full clip damage of 4,660. The headshots, it's 255 for the first 4 and 115 for the rest of his clip, giving him a DPS of 2,150 or a max DPS of 2,310, and a full clip damage of 6,610. And with the grenade bonus damage, the first 4 shots of his clip will do 209 and the rest of his clip will do 169. giving him a DPS of 1,690 and a max DPS of 1,850. Full clip will do 5,230. If it's headshots, the first 4 will do 274 and the rest of his clip will do 234. A max DPS of 1,500 and a regular DPS of 2,340. A full clip will do 7,180. In Victor's ultimate, he can drop 3 artillery shells, each dealing 1,400 for a maximum damage of 4,200, unless he hits 5 targets. If he hits 5 targets, that's 21,000 damage. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Willow. She can deal 500 damage every 0.75 seconds, giving her a DPS of 625, unless she hits 5 targets, because then her DPS is 3,125. A full clip of her damage can deal 4,000 damage to 1 target, or 20,000 damage to 5 targets. Her seedling can deal a maximum of 2,500, unless it hits 5 targets, because then that's 12,500. And her dead zone can deal 100 damage if it hits a target directly. If she has the Blast Flower legendary, she has 1,000 DPS, or 5,000 if she hits 5 targets, giving her a full clip damage of 6,400 on 1 target and 51,200 on 5 targets. If she has the Scorn legendary, each seedling will deal 850 damage, which will be a maximum of 4,250 if hit by all 5, and if all 5 hit all 5 people, they'll deal 21,250. In her ultimate, over the maximum duration, she can deal 7,000 damage to 1 person, or 3,500 damage to all 5 enemy players. If she has the Blast Flower legendary, the maximum amount of damage she can do to 1 target is 9,025, and the maximum she can do to all 5 enemy teams will be 45,125. And on to the next champion. Alright, now on to Ying. Her mirror is a little different. It does 5 ticks of damage, each doing 90, which totals up to 450, giving her a DPS of 900 which she can fire every 0.5 seconds, and a full clip damage of 3,600. She can spawn 1 illusion each. Whenever she shatters that illusion, it'll do 500 damage. If it hits 5 targets, that'll be 2,500 damage. If she spawns 2 illusions and shatters both of them, that'll be 1,000 damage, unless she hits 5 targets, then that'd be 5,000 damage. And if she's using the Focusing Lens legendary, each time she does a basic attack, it'll be 600 damage, giving her a DPS of 2,200 and a full clip damage of 4,800. And on to the next champion. Alright, now we're on the final champion, Ying. His basic attack takes 2 seconds and he can deal without 3 attacks, 2 dealing 450 and 1 dealing 700, so that gives him a DPS of 800 and a full clip damage of 4,800. His counter can actually hit 5 people, and if it hits all 5 people, it'll deal 3,500 damage in total. And his whirl can hit 5 people, making the maximum damage it can do 2,000. If Xin has the Guillotine legendary, the maximum amount of damage he can do per strike is 2,825, and that is to an ulted Makoa. If he has the Retaliation legendary, the maximum amount of damage he can do is 4,900 to 1 target. If he hits 5 people, the maximum amount of damage he can do is 24,500. Okay everyone, I really hope you enjoyed this video. It's like 40 minutes long, so I really hope you're watching up to this point. If you did, thank you. It means a lot to me that you watched this entire video. But I did this a long time ago. I'll leave the link down in the description if you want to go look at it. It's been a long time since I did it, so I really needed to do it again. And I've pulled way too many late nights on this video, so I really need to go to bed now. It's like 2 a.m. So this is going to be all for today. I'd like to thank you all for watching. And as always, have a good one.